people pause all the time. Anyway, run it. Episode 3, don't get hit, Isaiah. We're gonna get some feels. Get your feels bad mans ready. All right. I remember that series. Vector Man.
We European players know almost everything about American players. A bit like how European basketball fans follow the NBA all the time. It's a bit the same thing, and it's really amazing.
I guess that's a pretty fair comparison, actually.
People, you know, and
that is King Funk.
Armada cheering alongside Captain Jack.
I'm sitting there doing commentary next to Doggy Salmon.
Oh yeah, those guys. Shout to wait, what?
These murmurs start echoing through the crowd. Isaiah, and eventually we get word of this. They're trying to get Isaiah.
Yeah, that was a weird situation.
The hype was building that entire time. It's like you put a lid over a boiling pot.
Apparently the story was like someone just ran to Isaiah while he was sitting on a couch and woke him up, and he was like, "You want to play Melee?" He was like, "I guess."
And everyone's just looking around like, this is going to be Isaiah versus Captain Jack in the year 2012. This is like the best moment of my life. And then the match begins.
It begins.
Okay, here we go. This is Isaiah against Captain Jack. You know, I always wanted to do this. Isaiah! That's pretty bad.
You need to wait for him to do something, though. Right now, he's just kind of rolling around. He's slapped in the
He's
face.
not getting hit. Oh, he's getting hit with needles.
I'll say, what? He got slapped.
Camping out Sheik. Interesting strategy. We'll see if it pays off.
Constantly charging heels and throwing.
I will say, some people camp on the edge.
Yeah,
some people wait on the stage.
He literally just got off a
Isaiah,
floor, so he probably needs to.
We're not sure what he's doing.
No.
When he wants
That's pretty good
to
F-tilt.
turn up the jets. That didn't happen.
No, Isaiah's the Falcon. He ain't needle
He's done
camping.
before. He's just sat around and then just gone in the floor.
You see Captain Jack did a little bit too. He did up smash up tilt. He was doing it some. Like, there he goes. He does a little bit, but he's like, nope, I'm trying to win.
All these stocks.
Maybe this is my fault. Maybe I shouldn't have beaten Captain Jack like I did. Then it would have been a more interesting fight where they goofed off. Should I blame myself for this?
I believe you, Isaiah.
The crowd is stunned.
That was
In hindsight, that was as Isaiah as anything Isaiah's ever done.
No, I don't think I was mad. I was more just like kind of confused. I was like, why? I was like, well. Oh, right. Noise. But yeah, I don't know. People like Isaiah and Azen that kind of just do what they want are really interesting, because you can't just make them, you can't just be like, yeah, why don't you just do the stuff that everyone's doing now that you're good, and you're just like, no, do what I want. Does he usually used to do that? Isaiah would do things like that when he wasn't trying as much, and when he was better, but it wasn't that blatant. But I guess he just like really didn't want to play. So he just kind of like messed around.
This one got shake. It wasn't that good.
Really?
It was okay.
What kind of shake do you get?
And the producer.
I'm gonna get smoothie this time though. My favorite food is in Manhattan. I'm gonna get that soon.
Yeah.
It's wursts and sausages. You know, the one I get is called the Joseph Stalin Dictator Special. Yeah. The Dictator Special, you can't choose the kind of wurst that you get, but the Democracy Special, you can pick. Yeah. But I think that one costs more. My brothers play video games. Super Mario World. Oh, the Ninja Turtles game. Yeah. Turtles in Time. Yeah. Final Fight 2. Okay,
That was when you had to go rescue the girl, right?
I think so.
Did you have a good family life when you were growing up?
My family's not really close. My parents divorced when I was 10. My mom had to work a lot, so she could never be around us too much. But my dad would always take us to like the beach or outside to the creek. when we were like little kids.
It's cool. What is it about 64 that keeps you playing after all these?
Oh, what a pivot! I didn't really think about that until now. But yeah, I guess Sandbox didn't want to press on it, but still. Huh. Yeah, I don't know, man. I mean, I think you could probably go back to that, why Isaiah doesn't open up much and why he wants to do things for others and things like that. But, you know, I think, you know, that's why, you know, I'm glad we didn't really force him to play a lot of Melee when he didn't want to. But yeah.
Just something I really like doing, you know?
Yeah.
Like hiking. You know, I'll be hiking for the rest of my life.
Yeah, Isaiah just thinks it's like a deeper, like 64 is a deeper game. Like he's just,
right, until there's no one else left other than me.
he's just always played it, always loved it. I mean, really, the only reason he started playing Melee was because of Ken, right? And then Ken quit, so
on an epic quest to like go to as many tournaments.
not much holding him there, I guess. Also Brawl. A lot of the old school people got brawled.
End up splitting the money so we can travel to the next tournament. They're all underground. Not many players enter.
Yeah, Ken and then later Mewtwo King would just go around to tournaments like crazy like that. Mewtwo King would tell me about how he bust around to stuff all the time, and he was just like, oh, it's whatever. It took him a long time to get used to flying, actually.
The competitive Melee
was a grinder.
scene was getting big. New tournaments were larger, better run, with bigger cash prizes attracting top players from across the country. New York's Smash for Cash, MDVA's Getting Schooled, and Melee FC, hosted by the Kish brothers of South Bend, Indiana.
Misunderstood enthusiasts living an extraordinary existence for cash. The very first FC was amazing.
Those Kish people were smart. They have to name their tournament something confusing.
Time that Ken and Asin had met each other. Like that.
But FC was a big series, it's a big deal.
At that point.
I didn't get to go to FC, and I was really regretting it because it ended up being huge and like a massive success. And the top three was Ken, Az, and Isaiah again, which was crazy. You know?
I think those three in particular, Ken, Asin, and Isaiah, were just a level or two above everybody else.
So Yarok is actually pretty much like
FC
one of the
also
oldest
gave
North
birth to a
Carolina
new
players,
type
and he's a
of
founder.
competition
But
known as a crew battle.
as some people know, he gets some things
Kish
wrong.
Squared had
But we
seen
love him
something
anyway.
similar in animes like Yu Yu Hakusho and Flame of
Hakusho.
Recca, and wanted to try it as an event in Melee. A crew of players would pool their stocks together and compete against other crews, planning lineups and character selections.
Yeah, I think
to
like
count
Isaiah
opposing
Wife Hugs
lineups.
were among the people
At
that
FC,
discussed the
a
crew
West
battle
Coast
rules.
crew
So it
lined
was
up to face
a
an East Coast crew. for
it
the
was
first
a
time.
coming together, a meeting of the minds.
The
It's
West
pretty
Coast
cool.
crew ended up being Ken, Isaiah, Mike, and Jared. From
I'll also say, I read back on the crew battle thread like when it was first getting discussed, and they weren't sure what to do with North Carolina. And basically, I think it was Wife or someone that was like, we don't really know if North Carolina should be South or East Coast. So if someone from North Carolina or someone ideally representing the scene wants to come in and let us know what North Carolina is, that'd be cool. And the guy actually that came up with, or basically got the phrase "stack it up" going, he came into the thread and said North Carolina South. So, lore.
Canada and me. I went first against Wes and did all right. After me came Jared. He got a stock or two from Wes, but then he lost all of his also. Then was Mike from Canada. He finally eliminated Wes, and then he had to fight Oro's Samus. He lost too many stocks against Wes to really be able to make much of a dent in Oro. So then it was just Ken and Isaiah against Oro's last stock, husband and wife, and Dave and Asin. And so Isaiah just went into beast mode. He went try hard.
Dude, I love the taunt mid combo. That's actually pretty good because they think that you're not going to come in. What a scheme. What that was one stock to me.
Ridiculous to just see him just plow through like the entire East Coast.
The Falcon wasn't a very well used character back then. The aggressiveness and the speed and the combos and everything that goes with that character, scary. So it was probably more scary than a lot of other players just because he used Falcon, just because he was going to knee you 3 times.
Yeah, people didn't have practice against it and everything, but
people weren't really used to that back then.
He's one of the most technical old school players I know. like till this day. Like he's even more technical than Ken or everyone. It's just that so sometimes he'd be over aggressive, and that'll probably be his downfall.
Falcon players, they don't play
Let's go,
to win. They play to have fun.
Show me your moves.
Everyone cheers for the Falcon player.
I feel like 20GX has changed this a little bit, but yeah, people love Falcon.
Isaiah's like, he has all the technical stuff from 64, but it doesn't look like he was trying to win back when he was playing this fight. He was just trying to like please the crowd.
Isaiah.
Okay, the actually interesting thing though is there was a movement. It was primarily, I think, from Peach and Sheik players that talked about how much they didn't like Falcon, and they would talk about how like how a lot of them would like dash dance camp you back and then look for a grab, but when Marth did it, it was lame, or when Peach did it, it was lame. And then Sheiks would often talk about how if Falcon did a down throw fair, it was cool, but if Sheik did it, it was lame. And I always thought that was kind of funny. Not taking sides in the argument, but the anger over popularity goes deep.
He's a weird guy.
I know Dan has told me like he would just send him a random instant message. So what's a Krabby Patty? Like
we have conversations with him. He can like kind of predict what you're gonna say. So when you say hi, and he's like no. It's like okay.
He was just very goofy, very shy.
Don't get hit, Isaiah.
He'd say like a couple words, but they'd always make you laugh. He used to have this guy called Mr. Happy. I don't know if you heard about this.
Oh yeah, I know you're talking about, yeah.
Just this massage tool that he had. It was just like this weird back massage, and like he'd just be like, "Oh, I brought Mr. Happy," and he'd just like massage your back for a minute.
Some people say no, but he'll still force it on you.
It's 2 from Isaiah.
Oh boy,
that feels good.
It felt good. I'm not gonna lie.
People loved him for that because it was different. It was unique.
I have 2 friends. I could have more friends, but the people I talk to are Smash people.
Right.
And they live far away, you know? It's not as easy. You can't hang out so easily. Don't talk to too many people from Melee after I stopped playing.
Little Hacks Money?
It just stopped being fun for you?
Yeah. Stopped being fun.
And that's the end of that.
Competitive
He does what he
Melee
wants.
had grown to the point where business opportunities were becoming hard to ignore. Among a few failed startups, one company outshone
Hack's looking like Coconut Head. That's
and
messed
helped
up.
to begin a new era for Smash.
But yeah, I mean, basically MLG was basically like, Evo back in the day. But we also got Evo for a little bit too, although not the same treatment that we got in 2013.
I'd have to win doubles and singles to get like $800. If I was just to win singles alone, that's $1,000.
They had the legit amount of prize money with.
Yeah, Ken I think was in talks with MLG people, and JV. He was talking earlier about how he hosted and everything.
They had all these like hot chicks lined up, giving out goodies. Like we took our pictures with them, which I thought was awesome at the time.
Yeah, if you're a teen, that's probably like
it was
lit.
the first step out of the underground tournament scene.
Yeah, definitely back when MLG was cool. Although MLG had some scuffed things as well, but I don't fully remember all of it now.
Like, she's a girl. Oh, really? Yeah. Wow. I thought it was a beach. That Asian chick? Yeah. I've never heard that. Vaguely. Oh. She went to Super Chat combo. Yeah, I remember her barely. She has glasses. Yeah.
How was 2014 MLG? Well, I wasn't. If you grinded up the ladder, it was bad. Apparently, the side setups were bad, but if you were top 8, it was fine. Although it was really cold.
Teams is how good it feels when you win, because you got.
Also, people said they didn't like that you couldn't ad block the ads, and it was just like a Pizza Hut cheddar commercial. Everyone got mad and memed on it. It's pretty funny.
The first individual that comes to my mind when I think about amazing teams players is Isaiah.
If you've seen Isaiah, what he does best is he is always there for Ken.
It's just Isaiah just tearing a hole through everything in his path.
Isaiah is, without question, the best teams player to ever play the game. I don't think anyone would challenge that.
They might now.
And when you put him in a team
with the best singles player at the time, it was absolutely daunting, and playing them was ridiculous because they would play with Marth Falcon, and if you somehow found a way to get the edge over Marth Falcon, they just play Marth Sheik, and then it was just stupid. Isaiah Sheik is dumb, is stupid, is ridiculous. You feel like he's breaking the game, and it's not even any fun to play against. He gets you by the balls and doesn't let you go.
Isaiah grab forehand to get combo off.
Agree with wife, obviously.
That's the up throw. Isaiah can really die easily at this percent, so can PC.
Yeah, this was one of those legendary comebacks.
Oh, no, here goes PC. And it's King versus Isaiah. King versus Isaiah. Crazy close.
This was because there were people would clip individual parts of matches and put them up, like Isaiah Crazy Teams comeback. You don't really see people do that now.
Comeback, huge
But
comeback.
yeah,
Huge comeback by Ken and Isaiah.
that's a pretty classic YouTube clip there. See Isaiah jump up and pop off a little bit. Let's go, Isaiah.
Isn't that great?
No less. You know, not like hundreds of loud people.
Ew, loud people.
It's peaceful. You know, New Jersey has some good tap water.
Not sure New Jersey people would agree with that, but okay.
Did you like San Jose?
Yeah, I do like San Jose. Especially now because of the hills, hecker. Yeah. And NorCal is good because year round, you have to worry about a bunch of snow or bears. You don't have to worry about bears.
Not sure if that's true.
You don't have to worry about mountain lions, but I've never seen one.
Oh, okay. Yeah, just mountain lions, but no bears.
Yeah, I did that too. I imagined myself kicking a mountain lion off like a cliff, and I was saving a little girl from the mountain lions. Yeah.
Isaiah, the hero of his own imagination. Be your own hero. Be like Isaiah, Chad.
I think of things happening that haven't happened. Like I pretend they're happening.
What's up, Mel?
Like I pretend I'm talking to someone. Do you think some people just naturally get along? Yeah, right?
Yeah. I think so.
I like that Isaiah turns it on him.
Like you're really into someone, and the other person doesn't really care. Yeah, it sucks.
It does suck, Isaiah. It'd be like that sometimes.
Do you know why Isaiah is so good on teams? When there's someone else on the line, he will play his heart out. But in singles, you don't see that from Isaiah. You don't. It's not choking. He just doesn't care.
He has that capability to be the best player on that day. But if he doesn't want to tap into that, doesn't want to harness it, it's a futile battle.
Almost never gave it his all in singles, especially after the first few years, Game Over, FC, things like that he would try at, but the MLGs, he started giving less and less of a crap about singles as time went on.
Isaiah is definitely the player that created sandbagging to the extent it reached, because he would intend.
So first of all, that's kind of true, and I don't want to pause too much on this point, but I think a lot of people say Isaiah, meme on Isaiah being good if he tried or whatever, but I mean, I've gone back and watched, and his play at various times, even later in a year or something, would be drastically different. So I think he could play much better if he wanted to, because I went back and just analyzed and took out all the other crap, and I think that he could have absolutely played a lot better. Do I think he could have been the best? I don't know. I kind of stay out of all that because that's just its own discussion, but he could have been a lot better and freaked out people a lot more for at least longer than he did. And so I think that the myth is justified, and whether, whatever people want to say about it is fine, but so I actually want to talk about this too. I mean, this is kind of related to the Mango episode, but I know there was some discussion that Hugs posted once where he talked to Mango about all the hate Mango was getting, and people gave Isaiah a lot of leniency and said he was better than he was because he sandbagged, and I think there was some discussion about Mango potentially doing that too, which is partially where I think that came from, because he was getting all that hate, or he was just hated being as good as he was and being doubted and whatever. So I mean, it's just kind of one of those things that happens when you see success, at least on Mango's end. And Isaiah's end, it was kind of just he just wanted to help people, and singles, it's just he's there for him, so whatever. Yeah, I mean, Azim was a real sandbagger too. I mean, I think they both are kind of their own foils in a way. Oh yeah, no, this isn't some convoluted thing for me to say I'm the best or whatever. This is just talking about these players. I don't really think about myself in that kind of way. I feel like my story's not really finished, so it's not really something that I care about debating anyway. Mango was a Puff main back then. I mean, at the time of like roughly when this is going on, 2005, Mango wasn't playing, but like early 2006 he was, and he started as like a Mario Fox, I think, and switched to Puff pretty fast because of the King.
Eventually lose to like really bad players.
Eventually got to the point where like people didn't even consider Isaiah a threat in singles, not because he wasn't good, because he never tried.
He just didn't care, I guess. He'd go like Peach on like Poke Floats. That was intentionally him just deciding, oh, I'll let this guy win. Sometimes I
Samox, thank you for the raid, homie. I don't know if you saw my message. I tried to let you know, but welcome everyone for Samox's stream. I do love your what was I gonna say, your narrating, homie. Yeah, I knew he was shield dropping. I didn't know about dash pivot, but who did he coach, Mal? That's interesting. I didn't know Isaiah did coaching. Who did he coach? Hope you're doing good, Sam.
I think that Isaiah didn't want to take the victory away from the person across from him. I think he'd rather lose and see the next person win than win himself and see the person across from him bummed out.
Isaiah's too shy, though. I spent all this time with him.
Hey, it's a documentary. Documentary, kid. You're in the right place.
Similar, very quiet people. I don't know that crippling is fair, but certainly a shyness that just absolutely changed the way he went through life and the way he went through the Smash community.
What's your name?
Why you guys can't look at the camera, dog?
Where are you from?
Because I'm too lazy to talk.
Yo, your brother destroyed me. It wasn't even like funny. It was just sad. It was just sad.
I definitely don't know really what's inside him. I don't know how many people do, but I get the feeling that he's hiding a certain amount of his personality, and I have often suspected that he always hid a little bit of pain. And I don't know that, I don't know his story really, but I do think it's interesting. His tag is little known where it came from.
Isaiah taught people a few things, a few things in 10 minutes. Gotcha.
But it sounds like it's this thing that it's not. And the tag he puts on his on Melee when he plays, the girl.
Oh, interesting. Hold on. Someone talking about Isaiah coaching. Isaiah came to a NorCal local. Oh, thanks for the gift, Dex. 2 years ago, and I and two other players, and I found a quiet room was set up and played teams. He and I teamed, and every time we gained a couple stocks, we accidentally SD. Kind of a good insight of wanting everyone to have a fun experience, I think. Yeah, gotcha, Blue Fox. Yeah, I mean, it always was true. I've heard stories like that, I think from you at other times as well, Blue Fox, but yeah. Isaiah really has just been trying to be good to people, and I feel like he's also just going to care about that sort of thing less than in 64, although I think in 64 he just wants to have a good time as well, honestly, because I've watched him play that, and he'll just throw stocks away, and deep in tournament he doesn't care.
Likes a girl we don't really know a lot about.
Yeah, there's someone here I want to be friends with. Yeah, but I don't think she wants to be friends with me.
Yeah.
Rip Samox's friendship with
your,
Isaiah.
Your playing partner?
Yeah.
Yeah. How do you know she doesn't want to be friends with you?
Just the way she acts around me.
Reads. But yeah, it'd be like that. It's rough.
I have low self-confidence. Yeah. I'm always nervous when I talk in front of people.
Yeah. Public speaking is the #1 fear phobia in the country.
Yeah, people like to say that. I'll say that's the #1 response to that fear.
Thanks, Aaron.
Even as the team of Ken and Isaiah continued undefeated, their singles careers slowly diverged. Besides an anomalous 9th place finish at TG6, Ken continued to place first at every major tournament he attended.
Thanks, Captain.
By the end of 2004, Ken had won the MLG National Championship in New York and was the #1 ranked player in the country. But for Isaiah, the singles bracket was becoming a burden.
Yeah, it's
very weird in that.
Samox said that Isaiah didn't want to have himself shown, so that's why there were a lot of other shots besides Isaiah's like face talking.
I know he's not always playing his best against me or anybody that he likes or his friends he would play his best against.
The two teammates stepped into 2005 and the first tournament of the year, an independent major based out of Dallas, Texas, called The Most. It would be a notable tournament for several reasons. The state-of-the-art projector, the stadium-like seating for the finals,
just did that.
and for the first time ever, Isaiah would give it his all against Ken.
Pog.
I don't think the East Coast players wanted to go to that, so it was basically me and Isaiah against the Midwest and Caveman, Rob, and Zulu.
Cave and Rob and Bunny were our best players, and so we'd have them fight Ken and Isaiah to see if they could do something. And they could not do it. So we had Ken and Isaiah finals. The winner of most three got a cape. It was a black cape, and there was a big, like...
Samox and Isaiah aren't friends anymore? No, I'm just messing around, because Isaiah was talking about wanting to be friends with someone else.
That cape, because he played to win.
I have no idea if that's why Isaiah did this or not, but whatever. Good music for this, by the way, Samox. People rolled out of aerials a lot back then. You didn't really see that too much more until Armada more recently. Isaiah back here off stage. So good.
Unbelievable. I felt like they were both playing really well, and it was the first like really hyped finals of people doing crazy stuff.
Oh yeah, Isaiah gets in this mode where he just starts kneeing like over and over, and he goes too fast, and he just gets stuck. It's really funny to watch. He just bunny hops. I saw that a lot when I was watching him. We had the right idea. I think he messed up his like grab or something there.
Everyone usually kind of played scared in finals, and they were just going at it.
Yeah, Ken always plays like a monster. He does not care. The bully side B. Slide off. Ooh.
It was just sort of like these two people who were just like so above the rest of us, like mere mortals, like putting on an exhibition.
Going out there with knee. 2005 or 6, whatever it was.
Coming up from a 2-0 deficit, the odds are never in your favor.
This girl was there, you know, one of his Smash 64 friends. I think her name is Melissa. That's why he always had the tag of Mel.
Lord.
Yeah, sometimes you have an additional reason to put a little extra.
Melissa was actually cheering him on. And I really think like if she actually went to...
God, I still get goosebumps feeling this, man.
And, like,
Freaking Samox did such a good job with this.
He became Super Saiyan.
Let's go, baby. Taunt him even though he's your friend. What's that cape? Weaves rise up. Oh yeah, this is the clip right here. That clip got showed in everything back then. Of course, we didn't call it a clip. We called it a segment. This one too. That's actually pretty cool. Isaiah Bear. Oh wait, is the alert? Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? When? Tell me. After game 5? Alright, well that doesn't really help, but I'll figure it out. Alright, whatever. Oh, Ken? Gotcha. That helps. Alright, so is this it? No, okay, the PC first.
That was like Smash was moving along like this, and then like people saw that, and like that's possible to game, then like the curve of the game where like people started getting so good so fast, and it's probably all because of that set.
That was
Okay, so this is probably here, right? Is it here? Guys, I don't actually know, but I'm gonna assume it is. Yeah, okay, cool. Okay, so I'm assuming I'm past it now, but if he's still talking, then I just don't know. Whatever. Sorry, YouTube VOD viewers. You're fine. Samux, dude. You're really out here with. I'm really out here right now, dude. It's 2019. I gotta Monka W my way through life.
We never saw people moving around like that, and everyone used to love watching him. People would just talk about him playing.
Don't skip. I'm definitely skipping.
Just talk about Isaiah for like 2 hours, and that seemed to be the case with New York. Like Ken was known as the best, but we'd always talk about Isaiah.
Against TOSA on stream. Depends. I ain't taking my chances.
I've had used a knife. That's why I think I'm really sensitive. It's because I've had used a knife. Yeah. Nothing's really like tough for me.
So I might not be responsible for something Ken said, but if I was just like, oh yeah, you know, it's whatever. I don't know. I feel like if someone wanted to report me to Twitch for it, they might be able to. I don't know, man. Ain't taking that risk. Not about that life right now.
I've been getting better though. Yeah, I think so. So yeah, take a few more years. Some things take more practice than others to be good at.
We all have our strengths and weaknesses, Isaiah.
After most 3, Isaiah for the most part returned to his old ways, but his spectacular performance against his teammate and the #1 ranked Smasher turned him into a legend. When asked by those seeking advice, Isaiah responded simply with a phrase which would soon become a mantra. Don't get hit.
I used to have a shirt that said it, but I might still have it.
Did you really?
I don't know if I still have it. I would not be surprised if it's gone.
That's an interview Beach King did after he won something in Brawl, by the way.
At least
I watched that interview right after it came out.
It seemed like he could literally pick when he wanted to win. Like he could just decide, okay, now I want to win, and he could win that match if he felt like it. I'm sure like a lot of old school players will tell you this as well. He had this kind of aura about him that just seemed unbeatable if he felt like it, which, you know, didn't happen too often. But that's also why he was such a monster in teams, because he always tried in teams. So, you know, because I guess he didn't.
Don't get it. Play FGC neutral. I don't know what you mean, Kai.
In the future, what do you see yourself doing?
Still be hiking, playing SSB, hopefully making friends.
I think we got
simple man. Knows what he wants.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, this is me, Isaiah, Smash guy, I guess.
So I'm not allowed to skip the next time.
Oh, you don't understand. This is Destiny. We play right now.
Oh yeah,
It's
wife.
almost unseen in any competitive thing I've ever seen in my life.
With him, he would just be all over you.
He was rude and he was selfish.
And he'd go online and talk mad trash. Mad trash.
I saw the Ken combat and I was like,
And you're like, oh yeah, we want to make this big.
How much can I buy?
Serious? Like, is this
Ken combo. Anything else in this? Nah, whatever. Love that quote. Yeah, that's a good quote. We'll probably do... Yeah, we'll do... What is this? When's 4? Oh my gosh. Why? Why isn't it just here? Why? YouTube, you know everything about me, but you don't know what I want to watch next. Unbelievable. Alright, hold on a second. Everyone look at Melee. Do you guys like that? Was a video with all episodes? Yeah, but I like having cutoff points. Is this the real PPMD? Sure. Got the real Dr. PP band. Playing a volleyball video for your Marth guide. Yeah, I'm gonna sub goal it, but more people wanted the Marth cosplay, so yeah. Dr. PB, are we friends? Yes, Slow Cook. All right, so how's everyone liking it? Did you like? Was it okay stopping it as much as I did? Was it fine? I know everyone is like, well, I skipped the word, but yeah, whatever. Thanks, Chris. The 3. Well, enjoy your Shine Bagel badge, homie. Good. Okay. Yeah. Play it in reverse? What do you mean? Do you mean like start from the last episode, go backwards, or do you mean like play the episode backwards somehow? I don't know how that would work, but that'd be pretty funny. Carol goes like, Ken combo. You ever get drunk? Yes. Not lately. Alright. So, watch it in 2 times speed. I'll 2 times through the Game Award discussion, obviously. Okay, run it. Thank you, Smexy. Alright, run it. Wait, does it do the thing here in the... No, okay, hold on.
Ken is a villain. Ken is a villain. I have to...
Okay, so that's an interesting point to start off the episode with, actually. Ken is a villain. Because if you hear how most of the time Ken's talking, he's like, yeah, they got me, or, you know, I feel like I could have beat him, but I didn't. And so I feel like you're going to have different perceptions of Ken from watching this and talking to different people. I'll take care of Snap. But, yeah, I just kind of want to highlight the fact that there are people that think Ken is a villain and trash talk or whatever, but, you know, I mean, you can make your own decisions. You're informed adults. First time I met Ken was at Kings of Cali in 2012, and, you know, he wasn't really talking about, like, how sick he was or whatever, but, you know, obviously not going to go into details on everything he said to me. Run it.
Say that with...
How was he on Smashboards? Run it.
With certainty.
I mean, he's kind of outspoken.
He was rude and he was selfish.
A little bit, but...
Keep in mind, Wipe also said these things about himself.
He's a nice guy at heart, too.
He was a dick.
Imagine bowling alleys in 2019.
He just had such a dominance over the game compared to everyone else.
It's true. Ken's dominance was pretty insane.
Somebody who just knows the game so well that they just do exactly everything that they want.
No one's bowling last week, fake.
That long.
It's almost unseen in any competitive thing I've ever seen in my life.
I'm just messing around, guys. I bowled growing up, too. There just aren't that many bowling alleys now, so I'm just memeing. Volume. I remember being, because I'm pretty sure I'm the Falco getting ferried by Music King's Green Sheik in there, and I'm always like, man, why does that have to happen at the beginning of every documentary episode? But I finally gotten over it. It took years. Several years. That's okay. The redemption next time, obviously, Slamox. Long time coming, baby. Yo, I hold those L's. I'll tell you right now. Armada and I are both like, we don't watch videos where we lose. We hold those L's when we get bodied at the beginning of the documentary that's not about us.
Early on, Sultan of Samuel was the best Falco on the West Coast, and he'd go online and talk mad trash. Mad trash.
He was a guy that like was a little bit arrogant online and you know, would kind of mouth off to people.
Is that the best you can do?
It's like, oh, I'm the best. You use Marth. Marth sucks. He's not even top tier.
True.
Actually,
true. Can't be Pikachu.
Of Smashboards to the point where
imagine old Smashboards.
Let's money match. Once I get to TG4, let's money match $50.
Love the old Smashboards.
The stages, and Matt Deasy had a big screen TV, and I played.
Watch the Smash Bros next. That'd be funny. Some things never change.
Actually found out before that you can toss Falco and Fox up in the air and then re-grab them and toss them like a hacky sack and just keep on doing it over and over.
PPMD hacky sack in the chat.
I beat Sam, and he shut up. After TG4, Matt DZ released a DVD about it, and most of the East Coast
Yo, this guy
players
just jabbed like
actually
40
bought a copy
times.
or two, and they were just
broken.
They were laughing at us. They're like, "Oh, look at him. He's an idiot. All he does is move back and forth, like he's dashing back and forth. You know, why would he dash back and forth?
Why would he dash back and forth?
I was still new.
It doesn't do anything.
Dash at the time. All I knew how to do was dash back and forth, and that eventually became dash dancing.
Yeah, well, calling it something nice doesn't make it good, Ken.
Make a mistake in grabbing them was a very effective strategy, combined with his ability to aggressively attack well when openings presented themselves.
That's like the weird part.
Also, it helped that Marth's dash back is pretty crazy. He's got the lead.
The Marths, they're more of a spacing character. Like, they try to bait you in and they dash away.
The first dash back grabber. Zane inspiration confirmed.
Just be all over you.
Can't believe Ken just cheats.
I've seen Ken. I've seen his mind games. His mind games are like sickening.
Oh wait, am I supposed to dodge something here in a second? I don't remember. Oh wait, no, I think it's Music King. Whatever.
He knows what you're gonna do already. He knows when you're gonna come in.
He just really puts so much pressure on you, just like running up to you, making you roll, grabbing you, like just baiting you to do things.
Reverse back air, nice back air.
Scared because like a Marth, like intimidating.
Yeah,
right next to you.
it is pretty crazy because Ken doesn't play like any other Marth pretty much ever. Like he really does rush down and it's weird.
And I was like,
yeah, but I mean it is pretty crazy.
You did a forward air with Marth, they'd fly up, and then you can do a down air after that, and they'd fly down. People started catching on to that and calling it out every single time I would do that.
There's a reason why he was like the most dominant smasher.
Nice down air. Yeah, I got you, Dex.
They would call me.
We'll talk about it for next time.
Huggles, just crap like that. So then I just took on the name Hugs. I mean, there's no reason deeper.
Now this is not the story I heard. There's no deeper reasons. I think there is a deeper reason because I heard the story about why I think there's a deeper reason, but maybe he doesn't want it known. I don't know why. It's not that bad, but I guess it is kind of funny. But I think that one's better to ask him, but I don't know why he doesn't want it known. But it's really funny. All I'm gonna say is this was not his first choice for a tag. But I'm not gonna say more than that. I can't be doing people like that. I'm probably already doing bad anyway, but you can ask him about it. But yeah, I always was kind of like, why did he do, like, people say a lot of weird stuff in the documentary if you know the actual stories, but this is one of the weirder ones. But anyway.
Reason other than that. We actually thought we were already the best in the world, like a lot of people do. We saw the videos.
Also, chat for the YouTube viewers, chat's very mad. They want me to tell them.
We thought they were fine, but we still thought we could beat them. So we show up to our first tournament, which was bi-weekly at Ken's house. I knew about him. I thought I would beat him the first tournament I went to. Didn't work out the way. In fact, I lost to his younger sister. He's 14 years old, and I remember Ken and his brother sitting at the couch watching me lose his little sister.
Now that's rough. They like watch the throne, and you're like down there getting beat, and you're just like,
it made me want to play more.
They saw the bi-weeklies as an opportunity to bond and figure out who would be a part of their crew or their alliance. He wanted someone that could support him because he wasn't the most popular person in the Smash community at the time, despite his achievements. It's the underdog mentality. Go for the player who's not the best. Cheer them on. Make an upset happen. I think for the whole year I was doing the bi-weeklies with them. By the end of it, they did consider me part of their family. He would always call me up in 3am saying like, hey KO,
yeah,
you wanna play Smash?
The Ken bi-weeklies, rivaled only by the Chudat bi-weeklies.
I met some of the people who ran MLG. They're like, oh yeah, we wanna make this big.
That's crazy that Ken talked about getting that going with MLG people. I think that's just pretty cool.
For it.
Was that Blur? Blur was not talking to people in MLG. So Blur actually lived on East Coast, and he was like an early adopter of like a lot of stuff, and he still kind of has the old school talk himself up type of stuff. But yeah, Blur, he was East Coast for a long time, and West Coast just lets him run wild. So he moved to West Coast, and it's just been a crazy world ever since.
West Coast Alliance. Ken dominated every MLG he went to. The question no one seemed to be able to answer was, who could possibly stop Ken?
Armada.
Force myself to outcancel
wait.
50 times in a row without missing it. And then it would be, you know, Dash Dancer or whatever it was. And it was a lot of just training and getting better. And I had a notebook where I made notes and I
Sam
would
Ox in
watch
chat
videos.
cheering on Wife. He doesn't know what's going to happen. I won't spoil it.
Conscious, specific, directed effort at becoming better.
The newlyweds, husband and wife, formed the core of Team Ben, a crew of ambitious Maryland and Virginia players looking to make a name for themselves. In 2005, they took a step in the right direction.
Look at the tapes.
Teaming up with videographer
VHS.
Eric Reichenbach, or,
Yo, Bach.
as he came to be known, Bach.
Yo, let me just say right now, I've been pausing a lot, but Bach, he was such a big deal to us back in the day when I started, because everyone was like, wow, you know, the tournaments look so cool, and this is documenting the scene. Bach was kind of like the first Sam Ox in a way, because he like documented tournaments and gave you a behind the scenes look and everything. So, I mean, like Sam Ox putting Bach in here is just like, it's just crazy props, and it's just like so cool to see that coming together, because he could have largely not done it, obviously, but yeah. I mean, it's pretty sick. Bach's sick. Recording stuff is sick. Shoutouts to VCRs. That's how I got all my footage.
And how was your night last night? Hey, but I'm filming my night last night. Oh!
Bach's well-produced montages and documentary videos became the gold standard for Smashers, showing the world what these tournaments were all about, and putting Team Ben front and center.
You hear me, Florida? You are going down.
Oh yeah, Florida was. So it was weird. Florida actually wasn't that good in the beginning. Like, people like, I heard stories about like people like counterpicking low tiers they didn't even play and beating the best people in Florida, and like Florida just got trashed on so hard. It's not like they didn't have good people, but just like the difference was just so big. But ever since like Lamb Chops really blew up, for example, you know, everything's just changed and Florida's just stayed really strong. Yeah, like by the time I was playing, Florida was good and they were respected. But yeah.
That's what I'm gonna do. You are gonna be gone.
Mewtwo King wasn't in Florida at the time. He was in New Jersey. Yeah, now you don't mess with Florida, which is it's just a funny difference. Thanks, Ziv. Thanks for the sub, homie.
There was 501. There it is.
Hey, easy on the camera, dude.
Ooh. Model that.
Check this out. I got 2 plates. How ritzy is that?
I'm the Marth Slayer. I don't lose.
I don't know who that guy is, but he's not amused with his ritzy plates.
Kevin, husband, and I have been playing video games together since we were 7, and our synergy is very important. He's my #1 practice partner. Kevin is also a douchebag, which is important to the story because when you're playing Kevin, he won't let you stop playing until he wins, and he will not. Okay.
There are a lot of players like
party or
Kevin
a movie
now.
or to sleep. It doesn't matter. We
I
don't
need that
stop
win.
playing until Kevin
Give me that
realizes
win.
why he's losing. And so if Kevin and I are playing Marth Peach,
or you rage about him on Reddit.
Play Sheik for a little while.
Only 2 options.
Let's go catch that movie. We're gonna miss it. Nope. Sit down and keep playing till I win. Okay, because he wants to get better. He's got that drive in him, and he's a jerk. It's a combination of the both. It's a fantastic combination. He's very stubborn though. And so Kevin and I played endless amounts of Marth Peach. So I know everything that Marth can do. Nothing surprises me. It was my destiny to play Ken. It was my destiny because
I'm always interested in peaches that like fighting Marth.
I was the Marth Slayer.
I think it's just such a weird thing to want. Because that matchup is so bad.
Against him. So I walked over to his TV and I said, Ken, we gotta play. And he was like, and I was like, no, you don't understand. This is destiny. We play right now. So I sit him down. Marth Peach. He trashes me.
Imagine not picking Fox on that level.
And I win the first match.
That's a good comeback, though.
He makes the error of staying Marth.
Tell him, wife.
Same thing. He had a 2-stack lead on me, but when I'm playing Marth, I don't get nervous.
Bro, I love wife just going in, dude.
I'm about to beat him and 3-0 at an MLG. Big deal.
Imagine getting level banned. Don't know what you're talking about.
Just to go to Fox, as I don't eat Fox as well. So I'm eating him. It's going great. I'm up 2 stack to 1, and he's ready to go. 1 good ledge guard and do it. No problem. He kills me, and then it's 1 stock to
Double
1
jumping
stock,
into the
and
up
then he
air.
pulls
Forgot to mention that.
what I now call the Pokemon Stadium combo, where he's climbing me upwards, up air, maybe there was a second up air, I don't know, but a third one would have killed me, but you fuck can't reach Peach at that level, so I didn't even bother to DI or to air dodge or anything, because Fox can't reach there. But Ken, that resourceful son of a bitch, jumped on the windmill and then got me on the top level. And I died. I was furious, and that was it. That was my glory. And then I do start to get nervous, which is terrible.
He wanted it too much. Wife, no.
I don't know why I went back to Marth. I
But it's
guess I did pretty well against this Fox, but he beat me. I don't really know how. I guess it was the nerves, but I consider it a fluke because I don't lose to Marth. And the final match was on
when they go off and the Peach double jumps at the end, you know they're not even looking. They're like hitting their controller.
As a Peach should on.
You know they're mad.
City, and I was up again 2 stock to 1.
Mute City, the Peach counter pick.
All I had to do was just finish him off. I was so nervous this time. I've never been so nervous in my life.
69, that's why I got the tipper.
My hands were physically shaking.
No one's
They
ever
were
said that
covered with
before.
sweat, and they were shaking, and I couldn't play, and I'm sorry to John. I know that I am. I was clumsy, and I must have been obvious, and he beat me.
Damn, I fucking suck.
And I threw my controller, and
I am going to say, before White finishes here, I will say that he said good games in the middle of that, and I feel like there was a lot of more people saying GGs and handshaking and everything like that back in the day. I feel like culture's kind of changed now. I won't talk about it a lot, but I just think it's interesting in the story. But yeah, tough losses hurt.
Screamed, I dropped a couple of F-bombs, and the Hugs taunted me about that for a long time. It was my match to lose, and I did, and it was very tough. I can't go back and watch the matches on YouTube. It was just too painful. But I do think things would have been different for me if I beat him. I think everything would have been different.
Wife would be in Evo right now.
This tournament.
Well,
I know it was a real heartbreaker to lose to Ken in the 2nd set on the 5th match, but you won $1,000 for 2nd place.
He wanted that win,
I'd really
dude.
like to hear about your match with Ken in the finals, in the winners' finals, 1 versus 1.
Oh, it was like I was facing Neo, because he had all the mind games. He knew everything I was gonna do.
If you look at tournament records alone,
Rare footage of Asin talking.
Ken almost always got the better of him. But some of the matches were very close, and there might have been somewhat of a psychological edge Ken had at some point that Asin was just like, oh my god. Like,
Neo's not Mango foreshadowing. He's talking about the player Neo, the Marth player from, I forget if it's Maryland or Virginia. It's from the region MDVA, and that guy had a lot of really good Marth stuff. He never ended up winning, and we can talk. I mean, there's a discussion about why, but Neo was very foundational for a lot of Marth play, and there is definitely more to be said about that, but I will not say it. I will just say, as in saying that Ken did a lot of Neo stuff is important.
I'm here at MLG Atlanta with Ken and Isaiah.
No, he didn't mean
winners of
he didn't mean Matrix Neo. He meant the Marth Neo. No, I'm pretty sure. I mean, I guess I don't know for sure, but I feel like Asin's more likely to reference the player Neo than pop culture. I could be wrong about that.
Goals for the Eastern Regional Conference. Husband and wife both gave you guys runs for your money.
I don't think the newlyweds were playing. Oh,
You're correct. Yeah, that's what I thought. Let's go me. Sam, I'm saying I'm right.
Mostly.
All
Ken
talk.
And Isaiah, they said that.
So that's interesting. Ken saying they're all talk. Let's go, Ken.
They were not impressed with you guys.
Got the money.
And they said they're going to annihilate you next time instead of just a close victory.
When the set was over, Ken said to me, you had no chance. Ooh, ooh. That's the kind of thing that makes a person want to get better. That's exciting. It gives life a little flavor.
There are other ways to want to get better, but yeah.
Start fights and how difficult it is to actually start a fight. How much can you know about yourself you've never been in a fight? How much can you know about yourself you never had a nemesis? You're a person who's your opposite, who you need to go against, someone who really wants to see you fall. It took people out of a comfort zone, which I think was important. And especially gamers who aren't getting in fights at bars.
Yeah.
You know, but it was
wanting something and wanting to be your best, and
you could do that.
Proving yourself, overcoming challenges. That is something beautiful about competing in Melee, and the better you get, the more exciting it gets, but also the more stuff that tries to crush you.
Well, at least my side of the country's the best.
In like 2004 through like 2006, there was definitely like this
East Coast versus West Coast rivalry. It seemed like, West Coast always had the better players, but we felt like New York and the East Coast in general had just so many like good, solid players. So we thought like crew battle would be the best thing to hype it up.
The Kishes had come up with the idea of the crew battle somewhat recently to that, and they're like, okay, FC is perfect for this.
We're going to FC3. Hells yeah.
Tired and hungry, bro. Tired and hungry. Tired and hungry. Like every other poor black man.
It is a game-crazed community that stretches around the world. And today, 200 members of this online gaming community are causing a melee in the gym of Trinity Evangelical Free Church.
But they're playing on Cornelia, so it doesn't matter.
It wasn't just a tournament because the church was the venue as well as where you're sleeping. It was just an insane amount of interaction between.
Thank you, Bach, for a lot of this footage, by the way.
It was just loads of fun.
No one knows that I'm like a real practical pranker. While they sleeping, I put powder in their face. There was one time like Isaiah, he's like a heavy sleeper. I put like almost half the bottle on his head.
Most of what they did was in good fun. There were definitely times Wes would take it overboard. Some of the things he did with like the man sauce.
I remember actually like hearing about the man because they would post it on Smashboards in like big bold red.
This is actually funny now that we have the hot ones on YouTube.
Board player, and he's like unstoppable, I guess, because he has the fire.
It's a really hot sauce. It's not like you could pour it. You have to scoop it out with a spoon.
I was
What's the Scoville on that? What's the Scoville on that? We need some facts.
I bet he's not that good. I'd kick his ass.
When people are sleeping, I'll put a little man sauce on their lip.
I got a little bit of the man at FC. It was not fun.
Everyone who was everyone was at this tournament. And I even remember when we read off the bracket, one of the hosts said, I can't think of a single person we're missing.
There was 4 regions, East Coast.
Yeah, that's
South,
crazy that everyone good, went to that, especially because, grassroots.
Surprise, surprise, it was West Coast versus East Coast for the championship.
Like, okay, well, they also set it up that way.
But when something like that happens...
I mean, it should have been West Coast, East Coast, but yeah. I forget how close the battles were, because I think it actually was kind of close for one of the crews to get into finals. I don't remember, though. Crowd reactions.
Pressure was so serious before that we had one of our starters drop out due to nervousness.
I think it was Mike G that dropped out. But yeah, people were nervous. Like there was so much like trash talk that built up to this, and like, dang,
Mike G actually came up and said the same thing. He's like, dude, I don't think I can do this either, man. We're like, dude, are you serious? Like, is this really that hyped?
High tension, high...
And people were yelling in the back, too.
A lot of talking crap to everybody. I was in, I choked.
Oh, boy.
I still haven't lived that down. That's how funny it is. It's been, what, like 8 years almost? And I still haven't lived it down. Like, people still bring up that crew battle.
Wes was also our captain and the most vocal. And so he's talking shit as he's playing hugs.
I don't think he was able to take it. Not too many people was able to take trash talk from us at all.
Yeah, New York, I don't know so much about the West Coast trash talk, but I know New York's trash talk, like, they pioneered a lot. I've taken some stuff from them. Like, they're good.
They'll scream.
That's definitely part of, like, competing. That a new record thing was like its own YouTube video.
Easy. Not only do you have to play, but you have to deal with all the pressure of not being good enough or being heckled while you play.
You just have to zone it all out. You just have to focus and zone it all out.
He had one of the earliest really well-developed runaway foxes. So it was a very good, tactic at that time.
Yeah, we didn't do headphones back then.
Crazy Jones was like our secret weapon to neutralize cannon. It worked out perfectly.
I think Sleepy K had started working on
DSF
getting headphone stuff in the Brawl days, but it took a little while. Panic side V, everyone pops off.
It was just incredible. Like especially just having Azim pull it out was kind of symbolic.
I don't know what this dance is. They don't floss now, right? What do you guys think?
Now we're forever better.
Esports? Esports?
At that point, there wasn't much West Coast could say. Like when that came up as an issue on the boards, like They pretty much held their tongue.
I still have the dollar bill, actually, signed by all of West Coast, by every member of the West Coast team. Ken and Isaiah and all of them. They signed the dollar bill, and I keep it, and I keep it near and dear in my bedroom.
Seawalk. Okay, so that's what that's called.
After the crew
Interesting.
battles were complete, Ken took first place in singles. Even with the combined talent on the East Coast, in a one-on-one matchup, Ken was still the best. But the notoriety of being number one was beginning to take a toll on the 19-year-old.
Oh, I see.
I think when you're at the top and when you've been at the top for so long,
oh, he's 19 in this.
It's hard to maintain the motivation. It's hard to perform and be, I guess, disciplined in your matchups when everyone's rooting against you.
He was playing a game that he happened to be pretty good at, and all of a sudden people were like angry that he was good at this game.
He found it very inhospitable, and he didn't really enjoy traveling at all.
There was 501. There it is. Knock on it louder.
Ken! Close.
He didn't want to do it anymore because he always came to the conclusion that if I go, people are going to yell at me, they're going to trash talk me, I won't feel very good about being there, I'll only have
This is something that I think Mango dealt with too.
My Smash friends, and he'll just get really like...
To an extent, it kind of felt like that for me in some of the Brawl days.
After years of
So I
rivalries
totally feel
and
that.
intense competition, Ken needed a different perspective on Smash. A perspective he found from Captain Jack.
How does it feel to be the winner of a major American event?
Captain Jack said that he was hosting a tournament.
I started playing in
West Coast
July
Japan. He wanted,
2007,
like, the top
AMSA.
players from America to come over. Isaiah and I are just the only two top players.
I am
that
Babby
decided
compared
to
to
go.
you.
I did it mostly because I just looked at the overall costs, and I realized there's no way I can afford going to Japan.
Going to
normally.
Japan.
We were gonna get housing for free for like
free
over 2
housing.
weeks. We're gonna get to see Mount Fuji.
For me, it was kind of more like I wanted to travel to Japan.
All right, everyone's gonna get mad at Samox because he used K-pop here.
And also get better at Smash and learn their style.
But there was something about like someone donated so he would use the song. No, don't get mad at him. It wasn't his fault, dude.
Unbelievable. It was awesome.
Oh, this is the Japanese version? Get him, Samox. Oh, is it the Japanese? I don't know.
Really compact.
Went to a lot of the temples.
I just know everyone got mad. I don't know. I'll stay out of this. Japanese version? All right, we live it. Good job, Samox. Love you, dude.
Captain Jack.
I'll be honest, I listened to that the K-pop version of it for a little while. I'll be honest.
Yakisoba. We're in Japan.
What do you say,
and-
Rock? Japanese Denny's?
We're in Japan. We should eat Japanese food.
Every day, like at Smash would come over, like Captain Jack was like, "Oh, Masashi's coming over today."
Masashi was one of the best.
I think it's Masashi DI. When they play Smash, they play Smash. It's like they play all day, all night, all day, all night.
Aniki, the non-wave dashing Link. The problem was Aniki played Link,
like as strong as our strongest player in America.
and he would not wave dash, and he'd be good, and everyone would be like, "Oh yeah, see, I don't need to wave dash." Aniki doesn't do it. So there was always an argument about that when I was starting. I was like, "Dude, come on, just do it."
There was like around 65 to 80 Japanese players there, and I just wanted to learn, and just to learn and take back what I saw at the Jack Iron tournament.
We saw early on when they were making the bracket, Captain Jack told me he was going to have to play Bomb Soldier, and he said, "Yeah, he's a pretty good
Not even hard to do. It was hard back then, dude. No one was that technical. Of course, it was becoming more common when I started.
Just, came out of nowhere and just started beating all these top Japanese players.
Yeah, Bomb Soldier. People said he was good, but he wasn't considered necessarily a top player then. I think.
That fast.
But he was fast boy. He stepped up.
Falco pillar combos. I
think the Florida Falcons have been doing pillars around the same time.
That was probably one of the toughest Falcos I've ever fought in my life.
Falcos and Foxes were starting to get really fast around then because of stuff like Shine Blind.
I think that inspired more Falco players to take Falco to the next level.
Yeah. He was the original hype Falco, though, that got big.
Bomb Soldier won the first 2 games, and it quickly became clear that this was going to be a really intense set. Ken had to play pretty seriously.
There were Florida Falcos doing similar stuff at the time. No time travel involved. That's a funny clip. I do that to net play people when they charge smashes. Tag gang. Ken was like down at one point and like he had to really bring it back. But the Japanese
Japan,
also
the players are,
they also only played on like FD Dreamland, so that did help Ken some with the punish. But yeah, it's a pretty interesting rule set. Like initially we were like that's dumb, but now like over time it's interesting. Our rule set has gotten closer to the old Japanese one, which kind of makes you think, I suppose. Europe had its own rule set too, which was different. I'm sure Amsa and Chat can tell you about that.
So respectful, it's beyond belief. And I know Ken has made that comment many times.
Yeah, there was no shit talk. Everyone was like pretty calm and relaxed. It was just like how I would imagine like a tournament should be.
The players like cheered for him equally as much as they did for their own players.
Yeah, people were wanting good play, but I know Americans like really going rowdy and everything, and it's more of an exciting experience.
He was getting support from the Japanese players.
It's
like, if that had happened in a crew battle or something in the U.S. And a player from another country won, I don't
the
think
old
they
European
would have
rule set.
done that
I kind of
same level
forgot. I think it's like
respect.
best
They
of
just
7
wanna play
or
the game and have
whatever.
Yeah, can you go? The best meet ever.
When do we have the stage list we have now? We reached that, at least in America, in like 2012. Cactus drew up a lot of it. We were getting closer around the time of like Pound 4, which was beginning of 2010. But I'd say some point in 2012, around there, we got to around where the rule set is today, because Cactus did a bunch of time drawing it up, and he was like, does anyone have an issue with this? And everyone was like, no. And he said, okay, this is it. But yeah, good times. But yeah, otherwise we were getting closer to that. When I started playing, I don't know how you guys will think about this, but when I started playing, we had like Corneria legal, Bryn Star legal, Congo Jungle 64 legal, Mute City legal, Rainbow Cruise legal, and all you could do was ban one level in the beginning. Your opponent got one ban as well, and then you hit random, and then whatever you got was whatever you got. So that was so sometimes you would random and you would get like Dreamland against Puff, and it'd be like, all right, gotta do this now. So yeah, I mean, you guys think I think that's insane now, but we dealt with a lot back then. We got counterpicked hard, we got randomed. Yeah. So yeah, that was a different era, to be sure. Random, but
we got to know each other relatively well, and he was a very nice guy. I sometimes didn't understand why people gave him a hard time. I think it was probably because some of the way he acted at times could come across the wrong way.
In America, the scene's big enough, so it was all about, trying to be the best person, trying to like burn bridges, or trying to create.
You played tournaments on Big Blue? Dang, son.
To make yourselves better. He banned people like DSF and Hudson.
I didn't even do that. I played on Pokefloats though.
It kind of indirectly set up a rivalry.
He felt like I was out to get him. Like I wanted to be the best.
You were out to get him. What do you mean?
No, and that's not what it is. Like, yeah, I want to learn from you. You are the best. Great, beat me when I'm good.
It was hard to be diplomatic about it. I think I was cut off from half LA scene because of my alliance with Ken.
Already commanding, Ken's crew became even more powerful when one of the East Coast's top players began dating his sister and joined the alliance.
I basically pledged my allegiance to the West Coast. Challenger and Asm were all mad at me. They were like, no, Chew.
Dude, Chew moved across the country and lived with his rival for this girl, man. Chew loved that girl,
really,
I guess.
Really mad at me. I felt kind of sad, but,
But it was funny because Chillin was like, Chew's the best one on the crew, and Chew's like, oh, well, bye.
He was part of the alliance. He was calling himself sort of like a adopted Californian at the time.
Shortly after that, Asm actually took his first retirement. Like he, took a break from the game for the first time.
Can't relate.
And since Chew had started, swearing his allegiance to the West Coast, I pretty much was just H2IL by myself.
The scene was changing and changing in Ken's favor. He won the MLG championships for the second straight year and entered his third year of nearly undisputed domination.
Said it again.
When EGM ran an article naming the 5 most dangerous gamers, Ken was among them.
But not at the top, because Smash still didn't get any love. Feels bad, man.
I feel like nowadays, there's dominant players, but no one was as dominant as Ken this time. He just did not lose. Simple as that.
Imagine having a discussion about this now. Don't want to imagine.
Dawned, the last thing anyone could imagine was a contender for the throne Ken had forged. Least of all, in a wannabe pro skater, hailing from a sleepy New York suburb called Port Chester.
Port Chester. So we'll let the outro play and then we'll cut it. Yeah, we'll start with the PC next time. We're gonna cut it here. But first, foreshadowing.
My philosophy.
Everyone popping off, not Japan.
Put pressure on anybody that's gonna crack eventually.
He's better than me. I was like, so I gotta play this guy.
Well, some of the stories I might say might get PC Chris in trouble. So.
They just can't handle me right now.
You see guys like flocking. I'm like, relax. You know, we can let her breathe. You know.
PC was just pulling.
Well, the next one, oh boy, that'll be fun.
Ken wasn't
I think
someone
that's
who
the
just stumbled
episode.
upon the skill. Ken was someone who wanted to win.
Revolution. That's what happens when you get the game into MLG, dude. You get fiends like that.
In 2005.
I can't believe this is still 2005.
Agree with Ken.